BrainSell. And with me, we also have Ava, CEO and founder of Sapience.BI, joining us today. Hello, Ava.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
All right. Just wanted to jump into a few housekeeping items before we start. This is going to be a 30-minute, or this is going to be an interactive discussion. So if at any time you have any questions, drop them in the question box. We're going to be recording the event, and we will share the recording via email. You'll likely see it in your inbox tomorrow morning. So we're going to start off with a few poll questions just to kind of get a feel for where everyone's at. First one, do you currently use a business intelligence tool? All right, so it looks like there is a handful of people that are using a BI tool. Some people are not. And those folks who don't know, hopefully after this webinar, you will understand what this is and see the value in it. All right, number 2, are you currently using Excel to handle your data? That answer is kind of expected. And lastly, is there certain data within Sugar that you can't access via the out-of-the-box Sugar reporting? All right. And with that, we'll get started. So you might know us as your Sugar partner, and that's how we kind of started as a VAR, value-added reseller. But we've evolved, over the course of the 27 years that BrainSell's been in business, and now we're positioned as a growth enablement company. So our mission is to help companies position their people, processes, and technology for the fastest path to growth. And we specialize in helping companies digitally transform through business consulting, data modernization, and technology implementations and integrations. And here we'll talk about some of the benefits of tracking KPIs, key performance indicators within your CRM. You're going to get better performance insights. You can track your sales pipeline from start to finish, measure the success of marketing efforts, lead conversions, booking, sales by region, etc. And then visibility and accountability in the interdepartmental scope. So, you can boost user adoption by making the CRM, the go-to place for insights and team-wide metrics. And lastly, it arms leadership with information that they need in order to make informed business decisions. So they're able to see this data and hopefully make proactive decisions instead of looking back at something like a P&L statement, which is just a historical document that's going to be reactive. So some of the top reasons to use Sapience BI instead of Sugar reporting or in addition to Sugar reporting. And one, it's going to be the ability to add your own functions and calculations within the report. 2, you can report on multiple modules in the same report. That's not able to be done in Sugar. Also, you can schedule the report to be sent to non-sugar users. As a CSM, I get that question a lot. Can I schedule the sugar report to be sent to someone who doesn't have a sugar license? The answer is no. But BI, Sapience BI lets you do that. And number 4, you'll see during the demo, but the visuals and the charts are really outstanding, and they're customizable with colors, and Ava will get into that. I think you'll be impressed by it. All right. So at this point, I'm going to pass it over to Ava for the demo. And again, if you have any questions, just drop them in the box, and we'll try to answer them either during the demo or as part of the Q&A at the end.
Okay, thank you, Frank, so much for the introduction. I'm Eva. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. So currently, you are seeing the Sapience BI dashboard, which is apart from Sugar native dashboard, but it can actually be used inside of Sugar dashboard as a dashlet as well. So one of the preferences is that, for example, you can add filters, and the same filter can filter several charts, or all charts in your dashboard at the same time. Then we also do have several chart types which you don't have in Sugar standard reports. For example, here are geographic charts. This sample is by country, but it can also go by state or by city. Then you also do have the chart with 3 axes. 3 axes you need if you want to see different scales together in the same chart and see how they correlate over the time. For example, this one shows count of opportunities and amount of opportunities. So a summary of amounts is always larger than the count. So that's why it's interesting to have this set together on different axes and see like this monthly pipeline. Then we do offer the gauge chart where you can set your own ranges and colors. And by the way, you can change chart colors for any chart of Sapience BI. And the gauge charts are very oftenly used for your KPIs, like by sales rep or by product line, by product categories, the way you like to do. The funnel chart is, of course, also available in Sugar. However, you can accumulate values in our charts. And actually, most of the charts have more configuration options like adding summary data, removing data, values, etc. Then another sample here, it's not so much the chart type as it's the ability to collect different information together in a single chart. For example, this one collects calls, emails, meetings, and tasks. And this goes not only for the charts, but also for the detailed or summary list in the report. You can see all these things together. And this one is specifically by sales rep, but you can, of course, also do it like monthly, weekly, quarterly. And these time dimensions are actually also very easily be set with our solution. One more thing what we can offer is this ability to filter data also by summarized values. For example, you can summarize based on count. For example, if you want to list all customers who have contacted us or purchased something at least 3 times or at least 5 times, and it's actually count equals 4 or more, or a certain sales amount. Or also you can have like a report with summary and details of customers not contacted for a certain time. For example, customers not contacted last 60 days by sales rep. So how many customers there are which are not contacted. And the way it would look, let me open and show you. For example, purchased at least 5 times this month. If I click to the chart title, I would open the report behind. So it takes a little bit now time to load because we have loaded the internet a little bit with our cameras, but that's okay. So now, as you can see, that opportunity name count is greater than 4, which is 4, 5, and more. And so we do see the same thing for the chart. So going back to the chart, the charts are drill down. So whenever you click to this detailed area, you can actually drill down to the detailed list. Sorry, it's a little bit stuck. So I would actually get the detailed list behind, and from here I can open each opportunity directly in your sugar system. Here is another chart type for the geographic charts, which also show you additional dimension like either the status or the sales reps in each location. Also, it is quite easy to set up a chart with more than a single time dimension. For example, this year versus last year monthly. So you can compare months of each month of this year with last year. And actually, there could be unlimited years, and those could be also weeks or quarters. And I will soon show you how to set up this quickly and easy. It is also possible to configure the like ranges, not only for gauge charts, but for any other charts and reports as well. For example, this specific chart would show how each of the product fits within the certain range. For example, we can see that the product A and B fits is within 0 to 500 sales today. Then 500 to 10 to 1000 is the product C, and the product D is like within the range of 1000 to 2000. So you can set ranges. Sometimes people set ranges for like opportunity age or even customer age, just to analyze the segments of the customers. And coming back to the poll questions, where you had, it was like I could see that some of you have the issues of accessing data in Sugar. So our tool can access any data, any custom modules. You can even set custom relationships between or among modules. And you can also access the change log. So change history, for example, when you want to see when certain status was in place, when it was saved, when it was closed, when it was opened, and also calculate the duration. So when you want to calculate the duration, you can also use these calculated functions inside of the reporting tool. For example, here you can see that you can subtract date, you can subtract last change date from the first, and then you can calculate what was like how many months did it take to move from one stage to another.
So Ava, just real quick.
Yes. Yeah.
So what you were just showing us there, the calculated fields, what you were using that for, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you're going into the audit or the change log, or your tool is, and it's pulling one date and a second date for when the changes happen, and you're able to use that calculated field to find out the time between. So I think that is a big differentiator that I just wanted to make sure was pointed out, is that we're reporting on time between dates where Sugar can't do that.
Exactly. So it was very good question, Frank. So currently we are subtracting this current date change minus date created, but it can also be this before change date, means like previous change before last change. We have added by ourselves, by our tool, these dates, and you can see what was old value, new value, who was the change like made by, and then using this calculation you can calculate the difference. There's actually lots of other things you can calculate, like if then calculations like with nested things, and you can even write code if you want, but there is nice interface for multiplying, dividing things. Very often I'm getting asked this question from customers, if I need to calculate certain value based on other values in Sugar, should I put it in Sugar as a new field, or can I just use a tool? Of course, it's better to use reporting tool because it's like easier, and you don't get extra load on the Sugar tool. And actually, these calculations can be actually also made even on already calculated values, not only for the detailed lists, but already like summarized things.
So we just had a question come in. I believe you just answered it, but I just wanted to make sure that nobody missed it. But the question was, do you have to add these fields for the date changes into Sugar?
You don't need to do anything. It's actually already done by the solution, meaning that the tool already finds out these dates itself.
Perfect.
But
Thank you.
what you need to do, you need to enable the change log. So if you want to see this change, then you have to set up in Sugar Studio this checkbox that is for enabling change log.
Right.
Usually, like status is already by default enabled by change log or change history.
Thank you.
Okay, so also based on the change log, we can actually get the snapshots report. So this is more complicated thing where, but it's not for you complicated, it's just the tool is running processes behind, and it is actually reading what were exact values at that, like each date, like each end of each month, or if it's weekly, end of each week, or each end of each quarter. Because like more standard way of doing like opportunities pipeline is just grouping by created date. So, but if we group by opportunity created date or expected close dates, and we only see like what is current status of opportunity created some time ago. But if we actually want to see how many opportunities were closed, how many were opened at the end of each month, which is kind of more accurate and more valuable for your like business state overview, then you can use these snapshots, and they go for opportunities, for leads, for I think this revenue line items as well, and for few more modules it is possible to see these snapshot reports.
Cool.
Another thank you, Frank. So another thing that Frank also mentioned, the ability to view the overview, the summary of different modules together in the same chart. Like not only leads and meetings, tasks, calls, but also contacts, opportunities. So this specific thing is summary only. You won't have the details or drill down because it's like lots of data behind, but it is still very nice. You can get it either monthly, weekly, daily, and also by your sales rep. So this kind of summary of activities is also available. And that's still not all. It was more about charts and data gathering. I want to show you a little bit more how to configure these reports and about the scheduling ease and so on. So if I click to the title, I would get the report behind. And I already mentioned a little bit about flexibility of filters, where you can like have the summary filters done, like some is some greater or something like that. Then also for date filters, we have really lots of options like last week, current week, months, number of last weeks, and days before today and after today. Another interesting thing that you can actually set permissions to change certain filters only for your read-only users. So you can choose which filters user can change and which cannot. And also you can choose which filter should be available for your dashboards. One more thing managed with filters is data permission thing. So normally in Sugar Standard reports, people see their own data. But in our tool, if you set current user filter, then yes, they see only their data. But if you don't set this current user, then actually they can see all data. Sometimes it's very important that you want just to share general summary, only general overview of something like chart in the dashboard for everyone. And then it's very nice that everyone can see every data. At the same time, current user filter is again very kind of flexible, that you create single report, a single dashboard, you share it with everyone, but everyone sees his data only in this charts. So also about grouping and sorting tab, it's a little bit kind of technical information, but it's very quickly to switch between pivot view, summary, and you are unlimited how many dimensions you see. In Sugar, you only can have 3 dimensions for pivot. Here you can add as many as you like. And just with few checkboxes, you would change how you see, whether it's summary, detailed, or so. Then one more cool thing, related again to poll questions. As I could see, many of you are using these Excel spreadsheets and probably manually putting data together. So in our tool, you can still use Excel as a template, but you just set it up once and then it gets updated with the fresh data fully automatically, and it's like runtime. Is either you set like current months, next month, last month's filter, or last year. So and then run it weekly, monthly, or just kind of run it from the report. You can add several reports together, like several data and then charts, and then set colors and then charts, and then you can get it either directly in PDF or Excel. So this is how it would look in a PDF format. As you can see, there are like a logo, there is kind of coloring for the table, and this can be scheduled as you like. Also same for the Excel. And then related scheduling flexibility, you just choose whether it's Excel, PDF attachment, or link to the report, and then you select all the users, even roles at once. And you can also type like custom email address, and you can also set certain password for opening XLS or PDF attachment. So this is quite nice for scheduling, and it's much more flexible again than Sugar standard reports. And also for permissions, you can set this user role permissions to view, edit, delete. You can set whether they're allowed to export or not, and the same for the drill down, allowing or not. So I think that briefly I have run through the main features and flexibility, what is better with Sapience BI as in Sugar standard reports, and I will be happy to hear some more questions from you.
Okay, so we did have another one came in. Let's see. The question was, for these reports, can we pull from custom fields that we created in Sugar Studio as well? For example, we created our own sales stage in opportunities.
Yes, of course. And actually, here is a field selector. So this is how you select columns. And the custom field in opportunities would appear automatically. You will just find it over here. You don't need to do anything. Then just like when you set up and choose columns, you just move from right to left your custom field, and it will be available for you.
Great.
It's the same actually even for custom modules. Yeah, it's not just a field, it's even if you create a whole new module and relations, and even that is quite nicely done and managed to be selected.
Great. So we just had another question. They're talking about sorting. So they want to know if you can sort by multiple columns. So for example, sort by company and then by date.
Yeah, so actually this is like, you can see their level numbers, group and sort, or just sort, and like the way you like order it, that's the sorting. Like in our case, months with a year of the expected close date will be first, so within this month there will be type sorting, and you can not only sort by date, but actually within, for example, type, you can sort by sum, for example, from largest to smallest, not just by type name. So sorting is also very, very nicely done. And for example, for sales stage, sorting is not according to alphabetic sorting, but according to this selection list. So according to business logics of the sales stage.
Cool. So wanted to ask, so I know we briefly touched on this, but I wanted to just make sure that it was clear. So the tool can report on, sorry about that.
No worries.
The tool can report between the time between touches or lack of activity. So we showed the chart where the sales rep hadn't made contact in 60 days. Can you just show how that kind of works?
Just a minute, yeah. So here is the chart, and again, I'm clicking to the title. I'll just close these other things so to make it faster. Originally, tool works a bit faster. Just right now, we have loaded the internet with this webinar tool. In this example, customers not contacted by sales rep last 60 days. Generally, it means that you still want to see those which are contacted like 70 days ago, but not 60. And also, you want to see those which were not contacted at all, because those were not contacted like 60 days. So for this, we are actually using a specific function in calculated fields, but we would send you over this function. So you don't need to worry about that so much. And this actually, yeah, it's, but no, because you need to, there is this like just logics, the complexity. But it is still, once you have this function copied, pasted inside, you say that this filter, the sum of all of these is 0. And then this is how you are getting listed, says customers and grouped by assigned user, which is sales rep in our case.
Gotcha. That's
but
like
yeah, this was
a
like a
sales
bit more
manager's
complicated.
dream.
Yeah,
Sales manager's dream.
And actually,
but what about
if you just
what if they
click,
had pre-scheduled?
yeah.
What if they had pre-scheduled a meeting 6 months out, but they never actually had it? Would that be something you could? If I scheduled a meeting within
Yeah,
Sugar
that's,
for 2 weeks from now, would that show up, or
yes,
would you
that's
be
as
able to
well.
get that?
Yeah, it depends. You can, of course, decide whether you want to see like last 60 days or upcoming 20 days or last plus upcoming days. And also, like, why we do need the specific calculation, because we don't want to see anything about canceled meetings as well. So this
Yeah.
kind of formula is keeping the canceled things, because we don't want to take them in account. And then it looks with this date and this 60 days back. But it can be also for upcoming days. So you can decide whether you want to see those like which are scheduled, or you don't want to see those in this list.
Gotcha. Now, for people who might be interested but are looking at this and they're like, oh, this seems like a little bit, beyond my skills. What kind of like training do you offer, for people who bought the product?
Yeah, for us, it's actually very important that people know how to use the tool, and we want to ensure that already during the free trial. So there is 30-day free trial, during which we offer like a meeting, like live meeting. And usually customers have their wish list. So they have like top 3 or top 5 or top 10 reports they want to build. And we are just guiding them via this live meeting, how to build it step by step. That's when they'll learn how to use a tool. And then if there are more complex questions, when there are already new main steps, they are always welcome to contact us. We also have lots of video tutorials for each case, actually. So those are available as well. And this is all free of charge during the free trial. So usually customers ensure that they get all what they need during the free trial. And that's also our interest to support them, because we, of course, are interested that customers are getting converted and they stay with us and they know how to use it. They're happy and they have this, how to say, they're certain that they get what they want out of the tool.
Right. No, so that's great. So it's a 30-day free trial, during which you'll do, if they schedule it with you, a one-on-one meeting to build a report that they'd like and kind of show them how to do it. That's great.
Exactly. And we also
yeah.
answer questions via emails, like upon customer preference. So it's a way, it's better for customers as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that kind of brings us to the next question. So yeah, there's a 30-day trial, but what is the actual cost for the tool?
So the cost would be $120 per Sugar user if the tool user count is one-on-one with Sugar user count. Sometimes customers want to purchase license for fewer users than Sugar users, but it is 10 times more expensive. So it is $1,200 per Sapience BI module user. But that's because sometimes we have like little companies, customers who have just 10 users, and then we have like large several hundred user companies where are just 5 analysts who do like tons of reports and need a lot of support, and we can't really price 5 user companies same as this 200 user company with just 5 analysts using the tool. Because anyways, the support is very much related to the size of actual sugar user. So it's like counting what pricing model is better for each case. We are trying to be as flexible as we can for each case.
Right. Cool. So it's just to recap, it's just 2 different ways to price it. It's either a one-to-one with your sugar licenses. So if you have 20 sugar licenses, you would need 20 Sapiens licenses. Or the other case would be if you just want to buy a license for a couple individuals, maybe you have a ton of sugar users, then you'd only buy 1 or 2 like module users, and those would be instead of 120 a year, it'd be 1,200 a year. I think that's kind of the breakdown. So do the math,
Yes,
see which
exactly.
one works best for you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Frank. Thank you. Those are good examples. And of course, this support and training, we currently don't limit customers from support and training at all. So that is valid not only during the free trial, but afterwards. So that's all included in cost. There is no additional cost for help and of course upgrades and then fixes. That is all included in this cost.
Wow, it's a lot of value. I think one of the last questions I had, and I don't know if any more came into the chat, I'm going to take a look, but so let's say they make the purchase. How long would it take to actually be able to get into the reporting tool in Sugar? So they buy it. How long does it take to implement?
It's actually like a couple of minutes question because it's like a zip files that you would install via module loader, and usually even customer doesn't need to do anything because either we or BrainSell team is very nicely doing this, and so we just need to know the URL of your system because it's like license is reading that, and then within a couple of minutes, once you upload and click to install, you would have it like Sapience BI actually looks like this. You would already have not only tool but lots of predefined reports with charts inside of like organized by like module folders, and so it's like hands-on opening, seeing what is there, and then playing around using save as for reports. So for example, here is save as button, which would make a copy of it. So we really try to make it as easy to start as possible for our customers.
Great. Yeah, so it's just download and install, and that's it. I see another question. So just to clarify on the pricing, I just want to answer this question. They were asking if that was the annual or the monthly price. That was the annual. So $120 per user if you go on the one-to-one plan with the sugar licenses, or it's $1,200 a year if you're buying just one license, not one-to-one with sugar. So if you go for just the per user license. I think that's all the questions we had today, but I wanted to remind everyone that after the event, we're doing a complimentary 1-hour reporting health audit for attendees. So you'd meet with us. This is free of charge, and we kind of walk through how you're currently doing your reporting, and just kind of give you some ideas and kind of analyze where you're at, if we think it would be appropriate for you guys to be using business intelligence, some tips and tricks, that sort of thing. So reach out to your customer success manager and we can get that scheduled for you. And I think, I know we finished up a little early, but I think we'll give you back some time in your day. We'll be doing some follow-up calls, the rest of this week or next week, just to get some feedback on the content or answer any questions and determine if there's any next steps. So if you have questions, call us or wait for us to call you. And we'll give you 30 minutes back. Have a great day. Thanks, Ava.
Thank you, Frank. And once again, thank you everyone for attending. You're always welcome for the questions to Frank, BrainSell team, or to me personally. Yeah, I'm very happy you were here and you could, and then I had the chance to show this over. Thank you everyone and have a good day. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks. Bye.